Okay, thank you for joining me. I know this is a day late, but things being as they are with the expansion draft happening and being a live event, I wanted to wait until that was done and talk specifically about that on this edition of News and Notes. So thank you for joining me. Okay, first, before we get to the draft itself and I give my analysis of how it went, I want to mention I thought it was fantastic that the league finally has embraced more of an updated approach regarding social media and that they put this broadcast together. Was it perfect? No, of course not. But I thought it was very well done. I thought you chose two of the best people to host it in Will Wiggleman and Brady Beaton. Obviously, they have a very good rapport with each other, having worked together all this last year as members of the Port Huron Prowlers organization. Really enjoyed the production. Yes, there were some little kinks and things to work out for future podcasts. We knew that was going to happen. So, all the same, I think it was wonderful that the league decided to do this broadcast. And obviously we had like 1,300 viewers at one point. So, fantastic. Big thumbs up to the FPHL for creating the channel and talking about some features that they want to have on in the future. This was not a one and done live stream type of thing. They're going to be using this, and that's great. Okay. Also, to run through things real quick, we did have our first look in a couple cases of the individuals who are calling the shots for the organizations, the new clubs. We have, of course, Scott Brand. He was the one making the picks for Stockton. He does have previous GM experience, player GM, so this was not his first rodeo. Oceanside, Craig Carlisle was introduced. He is going to be the coach of the team. Hasn't been officially announced, but he pretty much announced it on the live stream yesterday. Midsouth, of course, we had the news a few days back that Mac Jansen is the coach there. And he ended up making the picks for Midsouth. Minnesota Northern Lights, Aaron Arlt, who is the business GM of the Minnesota Northern Lights, he made the selections. And then for Fresno, it appears Parker Moscal is indeed the GM for the Falcons. Okay, let's break this down, go into the picks. Starting with, and we'll just go in order of how the teams picked. And as I list the picks, I'll let you know how I think they did overall. Minnesota Northern Lights had the first pick. These teams picked in the order that they were announced chronologically. Minnesota was the first team announced, then Mid-South, and then the three teams from California. So Brandon Reller, he is the top pick. He is number one pick for the expansion draft. He goes to Minnesota native. And if you don't know, Reller goes by the nickname Thor. He's got big bill, a big build, long blonde hair, et cetera. Showed a lot of upside last year with the Blue Ridge Bobcats. So he is the only forward taken by Minnesota. Their strategy obviously was to build defensively going out. And I think that was a smart move for this organization. Forwards are the easiest position to recruit and bring in compared to goalies and defensemen. So I think the emphasis that they had going heavy on D and goalie, I think that was a wise move. Jordan Rosenbaum from the Blue Ridge Bobcats showed a lot of upside. I think he needs a lot more experience, but I think he's going to be a very good player. Type of player you can kind of start to build your defensive depth around. Austin Pickford from the Hat Tricks. I thought Pickford, I don't know if he changed his game or if he was asked to change his game, but we've seen a lot more from Pickford statistically in the past. And he's a guy who sees the ice very well. He's the guy that's going to give you those primary assists in big numbers if he's allowed. And so I think he was a solid pick. Puck moving defenseman. Lucas Robinson, one of the collegians from the Hat Tricks, only played 2 games. He's a question mark. We don't know what we have yet. Obviously, AJ Galante, the GM of Danbury, saw something in him, went out and got him. So we'll have to wait and see. The book is open on Lucas. And then Hunter Alden, who ended up with the Zydeco, spent most of the year with Athens, and very good stay-at-home guy. You need somebody like that, just like you need Austin Pickford's a guy who can move the puck well and quarterback the power play and set up scores. You also need a stay-at-home guy who's solely focused on clearing puck away from the net, keeping the puck out of the net, keeping the puck out of the zone, good outlets. You need a player like that. And then in goal, I think they did really, really well in picking up their goalies. Bailey Huber was lights out the last 6 weeks of the season. Last year, going through the year with Port Huron, I wasn't sure what we had. And then all of a sudden, he was phenomenal. Really, really strong 2 months ending the season. I think Huber is a wonderful pickup. Yeah, I'd normally say he's going to be your number one guy, but Chris Kerr from Indiana, also a great pickup. Kerr's numbers with a very defensively challenged Indiana team, very good. 909 save percentage, a 334 goals against. That's a great tandem. And then, should things go sideways, you got Matt Lenz from Topeka, spent most of the year in Watertown. Had flashes of brilliance. I think he needs to work on his consistency, but he's got that time. He's got that opportunity. So I thought Minnesota, if I'm rating them 5 stars, I'm going to give them a 3. I think they picked up some serviceable players, none that, wow you per se. Well, I think goalie tandem is going to be very, very good. But I think they did all right. A very responsible draft. All right. Midsouth, I feel like they won the draft. They're building for now. They want to win right out of the gate, and they did a great job drafting 8 guys that already you have a ton of leadership, you have a lot of skill, and you're already creating positional depth. Tyson Kirkby, of course, he requested that Binghamton left him unprotected. They did, and now he's gonna. I'm sure he's gonna be the captain of the Monarchs. So yeah, 43 points in 34 games, a game in a season that was shortened by injury, but yeah, he does all those little things that you want to see out of the player who's going to wear your seat. They got Chance Adrian from Danbury Hat Tricks, very versatile player. He's kind of got a lot of speed, but he also stick handles extremely well, and that's important. 27 points in 38 games, and I think he's going to have a much better year this year. Emerson Emery from the Binghamton Black Bears, he can do it all. He can play forward. He can play on multiple lines. He can assume a checking role. He can assume a forechecking role. He can play defense. He filled in on defense very well, I might add, for Binghamton and for a number of games. He can do a little bit of anything. Anything that is asked of him, he'll say, yeah, put me in. So great to have that depth. Damon Furseth from the Blue Ridge Bobcats, 27 points in his limited time in the Fed. Of course, he spent part of the year up in the SPHL with the Quad City Storm as well. Very good all-around player. You have Lucas Pekarchik, who, even though he's small in size, he plays with a big heart, plays with a lot of passion, plays with skill as well. So he's a good pickup. He's somebody that can wear a letter for you as well. He was the captain for most of the year with the Biloxi Breakers, ended up the year in Baton Rouge. I really think this was one of the most underrated picks that were made in the draft last night. Darian Benchik from Watertown, 46 points in 53 games. Okay, Watertown went through a lot of personnel changes last year. Benchik stuck it out all year, 53 games played for them, and 46 points. He can score clutch goals. He sets up other players very well. He sees the ice very well. He skates very well, rarely caught out of position. I think he's a huge addition. Cam Cerrone from Binghamton, a good stay-at-home defensiveman that is going to make sure that his end is taken care of so that the other players can have success moving the puck forward. And then Ivan Panavanov, I cannot say his name, Ivan Panavanov from Indiana. He's a great puck mover. I felt like he was really underrated with Indiana last year. Great on the penalty kill, great on the power play, big physical presence, and yet he moves really well. I could literally see a starting lineup where you have your forward lines, Tyson Kirkby centering Chance Adrian and Darian Benchik, and then you have Cam Cerrone and Panavanov paired together on defense as your starting defensive pair. So I think Midsouth did fantastic. I'm giving him a 4.5 out of 5 stars. All right, Oceanside. They did all right. They went with youth, largely unproven players, with the exception of a couple. One pick made me scratch my head. Okay, the good pick, their first pick was Cole Crowder out of the Thunderbirds. Played a lot of the year in Biloxi. 20 points and 92 minutes, 92 penalty minutes in his games. He's got a scorer's touch. He's got the brawn. Plays with a lot of grit, but he also has skill. I think he was a very good pickup. At forward, also Zach Demarais out of Danbury. He's a guy that can really work well for you as a penalty kill specialist, a very defensively minded forward. He's not going to put up a ton of points, although in a new surrounding, a new environment, maybe he'll find his scorer's touch. But he plays a great 200-foot game, and that's very important for a young team. Isaiah Frankel, youngster out of Monroe, showed a lot of promise. When Monroe brought him in, everyone was like, okay, we got this guy named Frankel. Played a couple games, like, yeah, we got this guy named Frankel. All right. He is now going to be joining Oceanside. 7 points and very limited action. The sky's the limit for Frankel, I feel. Also, they picked Justin Jamer from Port Huron, 22 penalty minutes in 5 games. He plays with a lot of grit and sandpaper, but he also skates very, very well. He's a speedy little guy. Well, not little. Hey, he's a speedy big guy. Played in Adrian College. Adrian College is like a powerhouse in the ACHA, so I think he's going to be fine. We didn't see a whole lot of him, but obviously Port Huron had enough confidence in him that they inserted him into their lineup for some games in the playoffs. So Jamer, I think, will be a good player as well. Nathan Carl from Topeka, 3 assists in 16 games played. Excuse me. I wish we had seen more of him. Started the year in PD. Went to Topeka. Kind of filled in here and there. I think he can be a good two-way player in an everyday role, but he needs to be given that opportunity. Just didn't get a lot of opportunities this last year. Maximer Tortorella from Indiana. Very, very fast guy. He just needs to really learn the systems a little bit better, I feel. I think he's got a lot of skill and a lot of ability. He just needs to kind of have his skills honed and shaped a little bit more. Hopefully, Coach Carlisle will be able to take him to the next step. And we'll see big things out of, as I call him, Max Torts. So, yeah, there were your 6 forwards, and then we had Cade Henry on defense from Twin City. Very good young guy. Didn't make a lot of noise, and that's because he played his role perfectly. When you are a defensively minded defenseman and you just focus on staying at home and making sure that things are taken care of in your own end, that's a good defenseman. You're not going to see him in the box scores a whole lot. You're not going to see him on the score sheet, but he's very good. Great shot blocker. He's not afraid to lay his body out in the line and to do whatever is required to get the puck out of his zone. So that great pickup, I think. This pick, I think, was a wasted pick. I'll just come right out and say it. Ryan Gill from Watertown. My understanding is Gill is no longer playing. He's coaching. So I'm not really sure why Oceanside picked him. Unless they talked with him and Gill said, hey, yeah, I'm willing to come out. I don't know. I wasn't privy to any conversations that may or may not have been had, so maybe that did happen. But from just the limited knowledge that I have, I just don't think it was a good pick. Not because of anything wrong in Ryan Gill's game. He's a very solid defenseman, but I just honestly didn't think he was going to be playing in the Fed anymore. So we'll wait and see. All right, I'll give Oceanside a 2.5. They're taking a gamble. They're going with a lot of unproven guys. They may or may not pan out. You won't know until they take the ice. All right, Fresno. Went through this. Fresno went for the home run. They wanted to make the big names, sign the big names, draw a lot of excitement. They certainly did that. The obvious pick was them choosing Austin Albrecht. Obviously, Parker Mescal has a history with almost everybody that Fresno picked. Albrecht was in Monroe. He is not was, but is a 2-point per game guy. He probably will lead the league in scoring this next year. He might even have a chance, in my opinion, of breaking the all-time points per season record, which stands at 143. I think Albrecht could do it. So this was a slam dunk, yes. You had joining him at forward Alexander Jemayev from Columbus. Jemayev is kind of like a solid second line guy. 34 points in action last year. Jemayev has always been a very dangerous player offensively, one you got to look out for and know where he is all the time. So that's a great pairing. Okay, then he went for the other home run, Caden Henry. He ended up the year on Blue Ridge's roster, but he was with Biloxi. This was a swing and a miss, a big swing and a miss. I'm sorry, Caden Henry is not playing in the Fed. He will be a regular starter in Macon next year in the SPHL. He was Rookie of the Year in the SPHL last year. Henry's not playing in the Fed anymore. I'm sorry, it's just not happening. So you wasted the pick. Potential was great. If Henry was coming out there saying, "Yeah, I'm going to give you 50 games," that's fantastic. But no. Dalton Anderson. Now, I forgot to mention, Henry, of course, was with Monroe in the second season when Parker Mescal started with the team that year. So again, a connection there. He also played with Jemayev in Columbus. The next pick, Dalton Anderson. Anderson and Mescal, I believe, for a time were line mates in Elmira with the Elmira Mammoth. So Mescal knows Anderson. Gives you the clutch goal every now and then. Has like 89 goals scored in his Fed career. So I thought that was a decent pickup. He's a good depth defenseman, or forward, excuse me. Good depth forward. The only defenseman that the team picked was Landon Johnson, who was with the Zydeco at the end of the year, played most of the year in Monroe, and did very, very well. 24 games played, he was a +8 and had 3 goals. Excellent pickup there. So I like Albrecht, I like Jemayev, I like Anderson, I like Johnson. The pickup of Dyson Skinner as their first goalie, I question, because if you're going to pick up a goalie from Port Huron, I think you should have gone with Bailey Huber. And this is not a put down on Dyson Skinner, but I think there's more upside with Huber. Skinner, 5 and 6 last year, or 329 goals against, 904 save percentage. Okay numbers. Not horrible, not great. But yeah, you had the choice of Huber or Skinner, and you went with Skinner. I don't know. I question that. Connor McAnanama, another swing and a miss. McAnanama, the chances of him being the Fed right now are probably maybe 1%. I think he's going to be looking at SPHL opportunities. He's pretty much got an opportunity to earn a spot with Peoria next year, and I know he's going to be trying out in some ECHL camps. I don't see him returning to the Fed. So again, I think you swung for the fences and missed. Josh Rosenzweig from Topeka. Well, yeah. As far as the rights were owned by Topeka, played in Biloxi. Had a rough year in Biloxi, as did everybody. But the year before, Rosenzweig played in Athens and showed, hey, he's a pretty good player. Posted a 2.21 goals against that year. Was the goaltender of the month 1 month with Athens. So if he gets some guys in front of him, if he gets some help in front of him, yeah, he can turn out some big numbers. He's got OHL experience. Was an OHL starter for 2 years. So maybe not. We'll see. All right. So all in all, I feel like they wasted 2 picks. I felt like they made another questionable pick. So, okay, you made out pretty well in 5 of your 8 picks. I'll give them a 2.5 stars out of 5. I think they could have been a lot more responsible and looked for more of a team element. I don't want to be misunderstood here. Parker Mescal knows talented players, all right? But just because you have a big assembly of talented players, high-skill players, does not mean they're going to play together well. There's a big world of difference between analyzing individual needs and analyzing a team need. As far as analyzing a team need, I just don't think Moscow is one of the best at analyzing that and being able to figure that out. But who knows? Maybe he'll prove me wrong. I mean, part of this article is me giving you my analysis, my personal opinion. So you can disagree, you can agree. That's fine. Okay, Stockton. Stockton, I think, was the most, I'd say, responsible as far as how they picked what kind of players they looked for and who they selected. They didn't get any superstars. They didn't. They didn't go for the big name, the flashy name. They went with serviceable players who play well under a system and with a team mentality. So I think Stockton did all right. Starting off with Jamie Bussell from Port Huron, 30 points, 53 games. Bussell is a teammate's teammate. He's not the most skilled player on the ice, but he is the most dedicated, one of the most dedicated to his team and to the other guys in the locker room. He's the type of player you want to be playing alongside of. So I think this was an excellent pickup. Chris Mott, he went back and forth between the Fed and the SP last year. Ended up in Twin City, 3 goals and 15 points in, I think it was about 28 games played. Forgot to write his game total down. But he's a very good centerman, wins a lot of face-offs. Good gritty player, not afraid to get into the corners and dig for a puck. He does the little things well. Chase DeBari from Watertown, again, another guy that is going to play for his teammates first and himself second. 17 points in 27 games. He battled injuries a bit last year. But he helped serve on the bench as an assistant coach for a time with the Watertown Wolves last year. So I think that's a good leadership kind of guy that you want. The best player that Stockton chose, hand down, in my opinion, was Rasmus Asp. Big honking defenseman. He can give you an occasional goal, but he's there for his big, steady defensive presence. Really developed his game into a standout Ulf Samuelsson type of player last year for the Monroe Moccasins. He was another player that wanted to move on, made him told Monroe, I'm looking for a new opportunity, a new challenge. And so he's going on to Stockton. Matt Garcia, this was another great pickup. Matt Garcia was the first player ever selected by the Athens Rock Lobsters. Ended up the year in Twin City, was one of those players traded for Gus Ford. And Twin City, I think, was a much better team because of the addition of Matt Garcia as well as the other players that came over. 13 points in 52 games. But again, he's a strong, physical defenseman. He's not afraid to get into the dirty areas of the ice and work hard. And again, another locker room kind of guy that you want. Don Carter Jr. from the Zydeco. Can play forward, can play defense, 37 points in his career. Not a whole lot, but he's been around. And good, solid guy. He's going to give you defensive depth. He's going to give you some speed and, again, some grit. He's not afraid to play along the boards, play in the corners, moves the puck well. Sam Turner, Now, there's a puck-moving defenseman for you. 37 points last year. And just a phenomenal offensive talent, but also takes care of things in the back end as well. Now, those were 7 picks. There were only 39 total players available, and so Stockton did not get that 40th pick. So as a result, they will be the first team to pick in tomorrow's dispersal draft. They will get the first shot. Now, the dispersal draft is Biloxi and Athens. PD is not included. Okay, despite information you got before, PD is not in the dispersal draft. So you have Athens and Biloxi. Now, I think overall with the dispersal draft, pickings are a little slim because I really don't see maybe more than 3 or 4 Athens players opting to play in the Fed this next year. I think they're all going to be looking for other opportunities in the SP. If they can stay with their team, the Athens Rock Lobsters, I think they're going to. So that leaves Biloxi. Now, there's 3 standout players in my mind with Biloxi. If I were Stockton, I would pick Carter Thornton. Big, tall, lanky, but strong, speedy, forward on the wing, plays great on the penalty kill, great shorthanded threat. He scores a lot of shorthanded goals. And he's another gritty guy. That would be my first choice. There's also Ross Bartlett. He can give you 20 goals a game, 20 goals a season. He's available. Or Trey Fisher. Trey Fisher, extremely tough, physical player who can give you an occasional goal, an occasional surprise. So I would pick from one of those 3, quite honestly, if I were Scott Brand, but I'm not Scott Brand. I do not share the same affinity for Waffle House, but nonetheless. So anyway, that concluded yesterday. As a Stockton, I'd give a 3.5 stars out of 5. I thought they did good. They got players that they need. Now they can go and get recruit and sign players that they want. So I think they did a good job. So I think the winner was Midsouth. Again, I gave them 4.5 out of 5 stars. Stockton, I gave 3.5 stars. Minnesota, I gave 3 stars. Oceanside, I gave 2.5. Fresno, I gave 2.5. So there we go. That, again, is my opinion. You're welcome to agree with it or not. You can leave comments down below. All I ask is that you are respectful and you can calmly and nicely state your difference of opinion. Say why you think, maybe Fresno did better than what I'm saying. Maybe Mid-South didn't do as good as what I'm saying. That's the great thing about America is we all have the ability to have opinions, make up our own minds, look at things in a different light, and the world goes round. So anyway, that wraps up news and notes. Again, I just wanted to focus specifically on this. Of course, this weekend we got the Fed Flash Face-Off. Very direct, to the point episode coming up. Fed Flash Chat. Just going to basically talk about, it's early, but first impressions for each team, not just the 5 teams that picked, but for the teams that lost players. How are they going to fare? How are they going to recover from losing the players that they did? Are they going to be okay? Are they going to be hurting? What's the future looking like? And again, it's a first impression because we have a whole summer coming up of signings, recruiting, trades, all sorts of stuff. This is going to be a very, very, very busy week of trades coming up. So keep watch. Trades will start probably as early as Thursday afternoon after the dispersal draft is finished. All right. So that's it. I am Gary Ryan for the Fed East Flash. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to tune in to that Fed Flash Face-Off show. Going to do that flash chat and also have more news and notes, because there's going to be a lot of stuff to talk about that hasn't happened yet as I'm recording this. All right, I'm Gary Ryan. Thank you for joining me, and we will see you again next time.